Hey everybody, welcome back to the Whiskey Cove, and on today's episode, we'll be discussing the top whiskies to look out for in July of 22. Run the VT. Okay folks, so let's get into this list, shall we? So the first bottle I'm going to be looking for in July of 2022, that's going to be Stag Junior, or I probably should say Stag, because for this release they're going to be dropping the Junior name part of the bottle. So I have one of the original bottles here. It says Stag Junior across the front here, and then there's the Junior part. So Buffalo Trace are going to be dropping that Junior part, and then they're relabeling it as just Stag. I wasn't able to find the label for this on the internet. I'm hoping they'll come up here shortly, and I'm hoping I'll be able to see it in the month of July. This is the 2015 bottle, and this was the last bottle that I was able to find out in the wild. I think this cost me around $60, but I'm hearing that they just keep going up and up and up, and some people are paying like $300-400 on secondary. Hopefully I can add one of these Stag batch ones to my collection. Moving on to bottle number 2, that's going to be new Riff H7. So we can take a look at the label here. 110 proof, 55% ABV, sprung from our warehouse to support the Western Kentucky tornado relief. A nice red or burgundy label with nice blue outliners and gold writing. Aged 7 years, of course. And then if we take a look at the back label, it says a special bottle with a special purpose. Filled on June 26, 2014, this exclusive single barrel offering was New Riff's Batch 1 bourbon was auctioned for Western Kentucky's tornado relief. Bottled at barrel proof with chill filtration, this well-aged high rye bourbon is how New Riff raises a glass and funds for our embattled neighbors in Commonwealth of Kentucky. So if this is as good as New Riff's other 2 bottles of whiskey they released recently, the Balboa Rye and the Malted Rye, I think this will be a phenomenal expression. Hopeful this bottle will come to Colorado. We don't get too much New Riff allocation or distribution here, but hopefully if I'm traveling I'll be able to find it. And it also sounds like the bottle is for a good cause as well. Not sure on the retail on this, but if it falls in line with the rest of the New Riff stuff, expect between $60 and $120. Moving on to bottle number 3, we have Tickle Tennessee Whiskey 17 year. Yes, Tickle's back with another new product to add to the line. This one is coming in at 43% alcohol by volume at 17 years old. If we take a look at the label here, we see that it says a Tennessee Whiskey Reserve cask strength. So we're probably thinking 43% ABV at cask strength doesn't sound like much. If it does stay at the 43%, then they must have got their barrels from the bottom of their warehouses at the coldest parts where there's not much heat expanding and evaporation in the distillate. Unless it's like the Tickle 15 single barrels where it's like a range maybe from 43 upwards, because I have the 15 year which is a 52% ABV, and I know that you can get like a 40% ABV. So if we look at the back of the label here on this Tickle 17, this rare, perfectly aged reserve has a full, complex flavor of subtly sweet toffee, hints of peppery spice, and a rich charred oak finish. Again, the label, darker kind of grey charred notes, nice gold or nice beige lines and fonts. I'm excited to see where this number 17 goes. You know, if you take a little look at, or if you've had the opportunity to try Blue Note 17, which is widely known to have sourced from Tickle, we know that they can put out some really good products. The Tickle 8 bourbon was great. That Tickle 15 cask strength, which I have, was also very good as well. So I'm really excited to see this come, and I'm really excited to get a hold of it. Do note though that it's coming in as a 700 milliliter bottle, so hopefully this isn't a trend that we're going to see too much about these smaller bottles, because I like my 750s. Moving on to bottle number 4, and this one is a big one. This is the Colonel Taylor Barrel Proof Rye, uncut and unfiltered. So for this bottle, I think it's probably going to join the series of like a Warehouse C or a 4 grain. It's just going to automatically become a unicorn. I'm hoping not, but judging by what it says in the description on the back of the bottle, that might be the case. So let's take a look at the back of the label here. Colonel Edmonds Haynes Taylor Jr. had uncompromising standards for high-quality whiskey that set the stage for the modern-day whiskey boom. The barrels selected for this limited edition barrel-proof rye release were selected in his honor and with a similar standard, so only the whiskey deemed of topmost class was bottled, uncut, and unfiltered to allow this full-bodied expression of E.H. Taylor rye whiskey. Bit of a run-on sentence. The barrel-proof rye release is a testament to its namesake and the measures he took to ensure that all of his whiskies was of unmatched quality. Again, very traditional E.H. Taylor label, you have the H. Taylor on the left and then the Old Taylor Distillery. ABV 65% alcohol, 130 proof, so it's getting right up there, definitely a barrel proof product. I would love to be able to find this whiskey. Likelihood is that's not going to happen. I've never been able to find an H. Taylor above single barrel, so I'm really hopeful I'll be able to get this, but again, it's probably going to be like a unicorn bottle. You'll probably see it in lotteries at the end of the year and in Christmas and that sort of thing. The retail is probably going to fall in line with the other special releases, so expect the same sort of price for this. Moving on to whiskey bottle number 4. In July, I'm going to be looking for this new Stranahans release here, the distillery in Colorado. This is going to be called the Osofa. I believe that's how you pronounce it. So if we take a look at the label here, a collaboration between Stranahans Whiskey and Flying Dog Brewery. Single malt whiskey coming in at 47.3% alcohol. 11-year-old Colorado single malt finished in imperial porter casks, aged 11 years. I haven't really seen too many age statements over 10 years, so this 11-year age statement is a new one for me, and that's the main reason why I'm going to be trying to find this Stranahans. And also, what distilleries seem to be doing lately, I've been seeing these kind of collaborations quite a lot. They like to distill their own single malt or distill their own product, and then what they do with the barrel, they send it off to a brewery. A brewery will then brew their own drink in there, or their own alcohol, such as like an imperial porter, like in this case, or an imperial stout, and then the distillery then will finish their product in there again. So I'm really excited to see how this tastes. I believe the most recent one I tried was the 5-grain malted stout from Woodford. That was getting up there in price. I probably wouldn't buy it again, but it's definitely a sophisticated and different style of whiskey. So then moving on to bottle number 5, that's going to be Uncle Near's single barrel premium whiskey. So this whiskey looks like it's going to be a start of a series here, and we can see that on the label because it says series number 001. So that kind of tells me that they're trying to kick off something here. And if we read the back label, this single barrel is different. It doesn't share the same mash bill as any other premium Tennessee whiskeys. This recipe was crafted solely to be bottled at barrel strength. Never watered down, our single barrel recipe won't be found in any other bottle. Our unique triple filtration process helps to ensure perfection in every sip. Distilled, aged and bottled in Middle Tennessee, home of the premier master distiller and teacher Nearest Green. The smoothness of our whiskey is what distinguishes it from all others. The legacy of our namesake is what makes it unrivaled. And again, going back to the smaller label, it comes in at 60.3% alcohol, 120.6% proof. Nice black label, some nice fonts, some nice writing. I'm hoping that the bottle is going to be very unique and very stylish as well. Again, probably not going to see this bottle. I'm hoping we do. I hope it's like a nationwide release. I have no idea what the MSRP is on this one. I guess we'll have to wait and see, but this is definitely a bottle I'm going to be hunting for here in July. And then just going to go through some honorable mentions here. So some other bottles to keep an eye out from is Jack Daniel's small batch, the Coy Hill high proof releases. So what they did for this release, they went up to Coy Hill on the distillery grounds, to the rick house there, went up to the top of the rick house and pulled out some barrels and then tested them, and they found all these crazy ABVs on these bottles. So they're going to range between 143.6 to 155.1. I think this is only distillery release. The bottles are already going to be a 375 milliliter bottle, so a stumpy bottle, but definitely if you can get your hands on one of these, it's definitely something to add to your collection. I'm not sure what the 155s will drink like. I feel like it would just evaporate like Everclear on your tongue, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. Other honorable mentions are Michter's 10-year 22 release rye, coming in at 92.8% proof with a MSRP of $185. And then other releases that might have already dropped already to keep an eye out for are going to be the Castle & Key small batch, number 3. So they've already done 1 and 2 earlier on in the year, and then now they're putting on a number 3. Booker's 2022-01 Ronnie's batch, that is going to be aged 6 years and 11 months with 124.3% proof. A little bit less proof than some of the normal Bookers on that one. And then Blood Oath you might have already seen, that's going to be the number 8 edition. And then lastly, Woodford Reserve Toasted Oak Grain, that's going to come in at 90.4% proof. And that is probably only going to be released at the Woodford distillery because it's going to be one of the smaller bottles as well. So that's usually what Woodford does if they start putting out a label that has 375 ml. It's usually only a distillery release. And that's all we have time for today, folks. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Give us a like if you did. Comment down below what whiskey you'll be looking for in July. And hopefully with this information, I'll give you more of an education to go out there and look for some of the bottles you really like. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram at The Whiskey Cove as we drink through the world's whiskies one glass at a time. Cheers.